Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Cameron, and in today's video, I'm going to walk you through my 3 favorite credit cards that I use as a college student. So I'm a senior at the University of Florida. I'm graduating in the spring, and that is absolutely bizarre to think about. And while these few years in Gainesville have really provided a lot for my education and my personal and professional growth, at the same time, it really allowed me to build some good credit habits that resulted in a pretty solid credit score. I think I got my first credit card back my freshman year of college. That first credit card that I got actually is one of the credit cards that is on my list to talk to you about today. Since then, I've gone on quite the credit card journey, you could say. I definitely went into a rabbit hole on YouTube, discovering some of the best credit cards to get. So since then, I've actually gotten several different credit cards. Not all of them are going to be mentioned here on the list. Today, I really just wanted to talk to you about the 3 best credit cards that I have used and why I suggest them for any college student looking to build their credit or make wise financial decisions. Now, before we go any further, my attorneys did tell me that I need to say this is not financial advice. This is simply my opinion. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. Definitely make sure to do your own research before making any real financial decisions. So I do have 3 cards that I'm going to talk to you about today. 2 of them are specifically credit cards for college students. The last one isn't, but is widely available to people in college. None of these cards have any form of annual fees. That's definitely something that I look at. Also, the 3 cards do offer pretty great rewards. This is going to be probably the biggest thing I'll talk about in the video, kind of how these rewards differ and how I use each of them differently to my own advantage. And finally, probably the most important aspect of these cards for us college students is that they allow you to build good credit scores. So through my experience with all 3 of these cards, they all have been able to check these boxes, and that's why I wanted to talk to you about them today. Also, I need to mention that I understand credit cards aren't right for everybody. Some people just simply aren't responsible enough to have access to credit. Now, that person probably isn't watching this video, but I do need to make that clear because I myself have friends who don't have credit cards because they don't necessarily trust themselves or their parents don't trust them. And while I myself certainly do trust my ability not to overspend or anything like that, I do understand kind of how big of an issue in America debt can be, and I don't ever want to endorse, getting a credit card just to spend money or anything like that. So definitely kind of understand the pros and cons of having a credit card before making any further decision. With that being said, I personally only ever use credit cards. There really is never a reason if I'm out at a store, wherever I would be doing shopping, for me to just simply use a debit card. Not only do credit cards offer way more protection, but also, as you'll see here today, offer way more rewards. If you swipe using a debit card, it does not provide you any value other than just paying for that item. So when I first made this realization a few years ago, it really changed my entire outlook on how I would spend my money. And really, ever since then, I have only used credit cards. Also, I know I've made some videos in the past about how to build your credit score. If you want to check those out, those will be linked right here. I think my credit score is currently about 765, right around there. But like I said before, pretty much all of these cards are available to college students, so they don't require you to have a really high credit score or anything like that. They understand you're kind of right at the beginning of your credit journey. So with all of this being said, let's hop into the first card. So the first card on the list is the Discover It Student Chrome card. As you can tell by student in the name, it is specifically for college students. This means they don't really look at any credit history, credit past. So even if you don't really have any credit score, you most likely will be approved for this card. This card is pretty highly ranked if you look on NerdWallet or some other financial websites, and that's because it really does offer some really great rewards. I think the thing that first drew me into this card when I first got it is that it offers 2% at gas stations and dining. As a college student, those are pretty much my biggest expenses. The card also offers 1% on any other purchase, so it's always nice to know that even if you're not spending at a gas station or a restaurant, you can still get some cash back. Also, another cool aspect of this card is that at the end of your first year, Discover offers an unlimited cashback match. So this means that however much cash back that you earned throughout the year, Discover will double it at the end of your first year. So this is pretty cool. If you end up getting $100 in cash back, you not only will get that $100, but Discover will match that and give you an additional $100. So this is only for the first year, but if you're looking to get a card, this might be a very attractive option. Another cool thing with this card is that Discover offers a pretty good rewards program for referring friends. If you refer a friend through your link, you get, I think, a $50 or $75 statement credit on your card. So this is pretty much $50 or $75 cash that you get to use however you want. And because your friend is getting a credit card, it's pretty much a win-win situation. So after plugging that, I need to say the link to that card is going to be down below in the description if you want to check it out yourself. So although the rewards seem great, this is probably the one credit card out of these three that I use the least. I currently just use it for gas, but realistically, up in Gainesville where I live, I don't have a car, so I'm never spending money on gas. But the only real expense is that for whatever reason, this is the card that is on my Uber account. So that is really the only time I ever spend money on this card, just because I am using Uber every once in a while. Also, I need to mention that my current credit line on this account is $1,950. I think that has increased pretty significantly since I first got the account, but I wanted to mention that that is the current credit line that I have on this account. So that is the first card, that is the Discover It Student Chrome. The second card on my list is the Bank of America Customized Cash Rewards for Students card. Now that is definitely a mouthful, but the card definitely deserves the title. I do think that this was the first credit card I got, and to this day it is one of my most used credit cards. So the rewards program on this card is definitely a little bit more complex than it was for Discover. With the Bank of America card, you get 3% cash back on a category of your choice. So the categories include online shopping, dining, gas, travel, and other similar things. So as I mentioned, you pick one of those categories, and that category, every time you spend money on it, you will get 3% cash back. From there, they also offer 2% cash back at grocery stores and wholesale clubs. And finally, like the other cards, they offer 1% cash back on everything else. So I personally selected online shopping as my category that earns 3% cash back. You'll see why I chose online shopping over some other things when I finally introduced the last card. But as a college student using Amazon, buying things online, I'm online shopping constantly. Whether you look at it as 3% off on your purchase or just a nice bonus for spending the money, it is good to just get cash back for something like online shopping, which is one of those things I feel you don't often see rewards programs for with credit cards. Also, while doing research for this video, I saw that the current deal Bank of America is offering is that they will give you $200 cash back if you spend over $1,000 in your first 3 months using the card. So this is definitely a great card. It's really easy to get some pretty good cash back in a short period of time just with online shopping. The 3% really does make a pretty big difference. And with this card, I currently only have a $900 credit line. Because of my length of credit history with this account, I probably can get that increased, but that's just one of those things on my list that I just haven't quite gotten to yet. So that is the second card on the list, and that is the Bank of America Customized Cash Rewards for Students card. So now we are on to the final card for this list. And as alluded to in the introduction, this card actually isn't a college credit card. This card I only got about 6 months ago, but it has quickly become my go-to card for most purchases. So because this card isn't technically a college or a student credit card, it does mean that you have to have a certain credit score in order to be approved for the card. I don't currently remember kind of the limits that they've set off the top of my head, but as I mentioned before, I probably had around a 750 credit score when I applied, but I don't imagine their requirement to be quite that high. But like I said, this is definitely my go-to card for most purchases. And that is because the Citi card offers 5% cash back on your top eligible spend category. So this means that each month, whatever category you spend the most amount of money in, that is the category for the month that gets you 5% cash back. Some of these categories include restaurants, gas stations, grocery stores, streaming services, fitness clubs, and a few other things. I personally make sure I use this card anytime I'm out at a restaurant just because that 5% cash back is pretty major. As I said before, as a college student, dining and eating out is definitely my biggest expense each month. So it's not too hard, and I've never really been too close to almost getting 5% back for a different category. I always make sure to use my cards wisely, and as you might have been able to tell through this video, I definitely have certain cards that I spend for certain things, and it's pretty easy to remember when you only really use 3 cards. So other than the 5% cash back on your top spend category, like all the other cards, they offer 1% cash back on all other purchases. On this card, I definitely have a much larger credit line than all of my other cards. I currently have a $6,800 credit line. Also, one of the benefits of this card, other than just the major cash back, is that Citi currently offers $200 cash back if you spend $750 or more within your first 3 months. So that is another pretty big bonus. It's not too hard to spend $750 over the course of 3 months, so it's pretty much free money right there. So this is definitely the card of mine that gets used the most, just because most of my shopping includes dining and eating out. So those were the 3 cards that I use the most and that I recommend the most as a college student. I know there are a lot of other options out there, but for myself, and I think for other people with a similar lifestyle, these cards just make the most sense. And I do realize I didn't really mention the interest that these cards charge. That's just because I assume that you will be similar to me and use your cards responsibly, make sure to pay off your balance in full every single month. And if you do that, you never really have to worry about what the interest rates may charge. Like I said before, make sure to only get a credit card if you know that you can handle the responsibility. Between these 3 cards alone, I have almost $10,000 in credit to my name, but I always make sure to not come anywhere close to that each month on my spending and to only use the cards responsibly. But with all this being said, I really do recommend you do some more research if you don't have a credit card already, or if you do, looking into getting these cards for yourself. The link to apply for each of these cards will be down below in the description, so definitely check that out. As always, if you guys have any questions at all, you can reach out to me on Instagram right here at Galbraith. I'd love to help you guys out. And of course, subscribe to the Morning Brew if you haven't already. The link to their newsletter will also be down below in the description. So with all the plugs out of the way, that's the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more videos just like this. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.